Have you ever wondered what is in your aura, if the aura is real? So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. With biofield tuning, we work in the aura in a layer that is what is referred to as the emotional body. The emotional body holds the record of our emotions, of stored trauma, incoherence that was more than your body could process at any given time. So, easy emotions, things like love and laughter and joy, happiness, it all moves through your energy centers in a way that just flows. It's very incoherent, it's very easy to process. But big waves of emotions that are produced during really difficult life events, they can overwhelm your body's energy system, your body's capacity to process all of that big emotional incoherence that happens. So you could think about your energy centers as a type of metabolizing system, similar to how the digestive system metabolizes the food that you eat. You have these energy centers that are referred to as chakras. When I first started doing energy work, I remember wondering about the chakra system. And one of the things I couldn't understand is if they're invisible, how could people know that they're even there? And so I just kind of trusted the process and was hoping that I would learn as I went along, and I did. When I first started doing biofield tuning, I was practicing on people that I knew, all adults that were in my age range. And when you get to be my age, we have engaged in poor eating habits, in unhealthy behavior, and so all of our energy centers are very often blocked, underperforming, and sluggish. And so I didn't really notice too much, and I kept waiting to get a aha moment. And so I had a teenager that came to me, it was a nephew of mine, who volunteered to let me practice on him. He was 16 or 17 at the time, and I was combing around close to the body and dropping it into where I thought the chakra would be. And I noticed a really huge dramatic difference in the feedback that I got back from the tuning fork. And as I dropped that energy in, that chakra I could feel would get stronger every time. The feedback from the fork was so much stronger. And it was my first experience of a chakra, and it was, for me, it was a big deal for me. I remember walking around in awe for a week, because I wanted to believe in the chakra system, and I didn't know, and I wasn't sure. But when I experienced it for myself kinesthetically, I was in awe, and I was just like, I couldn't believe that they were real. And so that was my first-hand real knowing. So there's a difference between believing and knowing, and that was my first experience that led me to know that they were real. And so, as I said, we have these energy centers that are referred to as chakras. They are about the size of a hockey puck, and they correspond to smaller nerve plexes in the body. In acupuncture, an acupuncturist will use a needle in the body wherever they believe there are blockages. They have a map. In the biofield, we have a map that we work with, but an acupuncturist will use a needle to release blockages and create flow. Um, Good health requires good flow. We have a lot of water content in the body, and we need to have good flow in our body in order to prevent disease and unhealth. And so the chakra system, as I said, metabolizes all of that life force energy that moves throughout the body. In our body, we are electric, and we have enough electricity in our body to light up a city. we produce huge amounts of energy, information, electricity. So when you are feeling the waveform of emotions, then those waveforms can be quite big and they can overburden the energy system's capacity to metabolize all of that energy that is produced. And if you have a big life experience like the death of a loved one, the loss of a pet, um, a breakup, loss of a job, whatever it is, they're big life events that could generate emotions that aren't just a blip, they can be quite chronic. Depression is a condition that is quite chronic. And so when you are sad about something, very often you're not just sad for 5 minutes or 5 days. It could be 5 weeks, 5 months, it could be 5 years. And some people struggle with depression for their whole lives if they've come into this lifetime with that condition. So when we are experiencing waveforms of emotion. Emotions are energy in motion. That energy moves through the body. And anything that is really big and overwhelming, it will get, it can get stuck and stagnant. And when we aren't able to metabolize all of that, it gets stored in the body, in our muscle memory, in our cellular memory. But it also gets stored in your biofield. And so, as I mentioned, your aura, it extends beyond your body. It has a double layer plasma membrane, which creates a type of container. So when we experience these big waves of emotion and we can't process all of it, the excess, it gets stored in the body and in the magnetic field. So for example, grief and sadness is something that propagates mostly off of the heart, around the heart, on both sides of the heart. We've found grief and sadness in the biofield in other areas, but it's definitely, we can always find it around the heart. So generally, depression is something that shows up off to the left side of the heart. Sadness, grief, and loss shows up off to the left. Off to the right holds a lot of energy and information of overgiving, longing, emotionally unmet needs. So if you had one or more parents who were emotionally unavailable, a lot of that will show up on the right side. A lot of fibromyalgia clients will have huge amounts of energy, stuck energy off to the right side of the heart. It is a symptom of overgiving. Overgiving is a result of having been raised with conditional love or with your emotional needs unmet. And so there is a partner, a pair to that energy center, which shows up often around the left hip and left root, left knee. The left hip holds information of frustration and disappointment, and the left root holds energy and information of doing what you have to do and not what you want to do. And the left knee holds information of healthy and unhealthy attachment. So that is very much a pair to the energy that of sadness that's off to the right side of the heart. And so this energy in your aura, it is a very subtle, diffuse electromagnetic energy that is in the form of plasma. It is in an inaudible range. And because this is information that's produced by pulse waves, it has a tonal quality to it. It has highs and lows. So somebody who struggles with bipolar disorder, we will find really high highs and deep lows off to the left side of their heart, and also find that around the knee, the right knee actually. And so your aura, it stores a record. So I want to invite you to pause for a moment and think about the story of your life, the highs, all of the highs, and all of the lows. And I want you to imagine that it is a vinyl record. There's a vinyl record that holds the music of your life. That is the sound that is stored in the aura. So when I come through with a tuning fork, an activated tuning fork, it produces a very coherent sound. It is a neutral input, and when I introduce that neutral input into your biofield, your body, it has an opportunity to recognize its own stored incoherence. Your body is constantly seeking equilibrium. It has its own organizing intelligence, so it uses that opportunity to recalibrate itself. At the same time, the sound produced by the tuning fork, it is working therapeutically to also modulate the incoherence that's in your aura, in your biofield. And me on my end, it gives me an opportunity to witness for you. It gives you an opportunity to witness something that is stored in your field. Very often, the information that is in your biofield, whether it's in your heart or around your knees, regardless of where it's at, it is stored information of suffering that is often very profound, often suffering that there just are no words to describe. It's very complex. And so when I come through and I broadcast this energy that is in your biofield, a lot of times people will have emotional responses to hearing the tone of their own suffering. But what I always say is that trauma, it needs a witness. Trauma needs a compassionate witness in order to heal. And so what we are working through is the energy of unhealed trauma. Sound healing, specifically the biofield tuning protocol, it gives us an opportunity to dig up this energy of trauma that has been stored, recorded, encoded, and held. We are able to locate it, identify it at its source point. We're able to help it resolve. And what it does is it changes the way your body references a memory. Trauma changes the way your body references a memory. And with sound healing, we're able to modulate that incoherence and to help neutralize, soften, ease the pain of something, the electrical charge attached to a painful memory. And so when I find this energy and information, we both are able, you as a client, me as a technician, we're able to locate the incoherence, witness it with compassion. On my end, I am feeling kinesthetically, waiting for that pushback, that incoherence to release, and I comb it over to the body and drop it into the closest chakra center. And people get concerned about that because I am bringing back energy that was from a difficult time. What happens is that the sound, it brings coherence to the energy, so it is softer, it is milder, it is gentler, kind of like how a mama bird will pre-digest the food for a baby bird. So it gives you a second opportunity to metabolize the difficult energy of a painful time. And so yes, sometimes processing a biofield tuning session, clients often report either a feeling of afterglow or aftermath. Neither one is wrong, because if we don't clean up what is here, then it continues to inform you. We create from these emotional triggers that are stored in your biofield. And in this way, your future can be held hostage by the story of a painful past. But with biofield tuning, when we are able to clean up this stuck energy that has been stagnant in your aura, just waiting to be witnessed, validated, seen, and heard, um, once we're able to give that energy a type of first aid, it seems to be able to just release. It seems to be able to just let go. And we comb it over to the body, and you get another chance to resolve it. And afterwards, your aura is cleansed, it's clear, it's lighter, you feel brighter. And it might take some time to metabolize the energy of trauma, the energy of sadness, the energy of anger, whatever it is that is stored and encoded in your biofield. But when you interact with other people, your biofield is interacting with their biofield. You can get triggered by what's in their biofield. They can get triggered by what's in yours. Most importantly, you're walking around life with it. You can't escape it. You cannot escape yourself. Equally important is that this energy, it appears to have magnetic properties, which means you attract more of that to you. You are a magnet to more of what is in your biofield. So bringing coherence to what's there, it helps to clarify your individual vibration, your encoding, it brightens your aura, and people report after they've gone through that process, they feel better. It isn't always easy. Um, there can be, depending on what you've been through, depending on your individual story, it can be a difficult process. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. A lot of the time, most of the time, people report just a fairly easy transition, a fairly easy processing of the biofield tuning method. If you receive the adrenal rhythm reset protocol, that helps bring down your adrenals from an elevated state of fight, flight, or freeze down to neutral, at or near neutral, so that you are responding to things more appropriately. Instead of code red, oh my God, I think I'm going to die, you're responding to it based on what's in front of you. If somebody cut you off on the freeway, if somebody yells at you, you're not going to get as triggered as if you have your adrenals ready to jump to code red. So um, the energy in your aura, it's compartmentalized. Anger, it shoots out of the liver. It is also, oh, the feet and the knees, really important. I don't like people to leave me without addressing the feet and the knees. You see a chakra chart, and you see them all down the midline, and they will, some of them will show minor chakras, points in the hands, at the knees, at the feet. The feet and the knees are considered minor chakra points. I don't consider them that way. I consider them really high in importance. Think about the amount of real estate in your body. How much do you have from your hip down? That's, for many people, half your body. If you're really tall, I'm short, but if you're really tall, that's half the real estate of your body. So there's huge amounts of energy and information there. The right foot, right knee holds energy and information of obstacles moving forward, emotional freeze, bad habits. Emotional freeze is a big one. Emotional freeze keeps us stuck in old wounded places. The left knee also does keep us stuck in old wounded places as well. Resentment shows up there, an inability to move on and let go. So they're both very, very important. So if you have any questions about your aura, about sound healing, how sound healing might be able to help recover from trauma or from the pain of an old story, every chakra point, every single chakra point has different information that is coded along that area. And um, some stories get encoded everywhere. Um, uh, some things can damage your chakra's ability to metabolize all of that life force energy. Medication can do that as well. Drugs, alcohol, um, risky behavior, um, any kind of when you're intimate with someone, you're trading energy and information. So you want to be practicing good energy hygiene. Um, and biofield tuning is a method that can do a lot of cleanup work. And once you've done cleanup work, you can come back for tune-up work. Just like your car, you want to keep your energy body running smoothly, your chakras aligned and balanced. And yeah, if you have any questions, thank you for sticking with me this far if you're still with me. Okay, bye for now, everybody. Be well.